2 years ago, I was a senior here at Michigan State University. And it was in the month of May of 2013. And within these days, it would change my life forever. I remember within these days, I felt this excruciating pain that was deep within my bones. It was the most excruciating physical pain that I've ever felt in my life. It was so sharp and dull at the same time. It felt like somebody was tearing apart my bone marrow from the inside out. It was within these days that I got a cold that lasted for several weeks. And in the midst of all of this, I decided to go home and take a break from all the work I was doing and hope that I could get better. Fast forward to June 6th of 2013. I go to the clinic and to see what's going on with my body because I'm not getting any better. I do all this blood work and all the tests that need to be done, and I go home later that night and sleep without a worry in my mind. But around 4 in the morning, there's this huge pounding on my door at home, and it wakes up everybody in my house, and I run to the window and I look out, and there's all these flashing lights everywhere, and I see 2 cop cars, an ambulance, and a fire truck, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what in the world's going on? Either somebody in my neighborhood got shot, or somebody got robbed. And so my dad goes downstairs and opens the door, and he's greeted by a police officer. And this police officer says, "Hello, is there a young E home?" And upon hearing this, I run downstairs and I look at my dad. I'm like, "Dad, I swear I didn't do anything wrong." And the officer says, No, you're fine, but your doctor called us. And he actually said that you need to go to the hospital right away. And upon hearing this, I go and look at my phone, and there's four voicemails and 5 missed calls from 1 in the morning to 4 in the morning. And I call him almost immediately, and right away he picks up. And he says, "Young, I'm so glad that you called, but you need to go to the emergency room right away." And I ask him, what's going on? And he tells me, "Your blood work came back, and everything looks abnormal, and you can die at any moment." And I'm thinking, this has got to be some kind of nightmare. And I tell my parents this, and of course, it's a daunting thing to hear that your son could die at any moment. And so they take me to the hospital at around 5 in the morning, get some more blood work done, and there's no answer. 10 in the morning rolls around, and still no answer, until a team of doctors come in. And on June 7th, 2013, I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia and began the hardest, most challenging season of my life. It was at this moment that I realized that I was potentially on my deathbed, and I realized that I could die because of either the illness or the chemotherapy. And I realized that there was a problem that exists in this world. And most people who are on their deathbed end up dying, unfortunately. But the problem that I'm addressing here isn't death itself, though it is sad. But the problem that I want to address to you all tonight is this regret that is felt by those on the deathbed, and the likelihood that we cannot reverse those regrets. I want to ask you all a really real question right now. If you knew you were going to die tomorrow, would it be a life filled with regret? During the 6 months of chemotherapy, and after being declared cancer-free, thank you. And after being declared cancer-free, it was within the past 18 months that I kept asking myself this question of, how in the world can I live a fulfilled life? How can I live life without any regrets? And I realized that it wasn't by hard work alone. It wasn't by hard work alone, nor was it by what my culture likes to call YOLO, but it is by these 3 means that kept coming up in my mind. It was these 3 means of urgency, patience, and perseverance that I realized I could go and live a life without regret. And why are these 3 virtues so important? I realized that within our culture today, that these 3 virtues have been either misdirected or misinterpreted. And when reassessed in our lives, we can use them to push ourselves closer to achieving our dreams, our goals, and fulfilling the needs in our lives. So the first virtue of urgency. Urgency within our generation is as healthy as can be. But the problem that I see with it is the direction to where it takes us because of the reason why we're urgent in certain areas of our lives. And I realize when thinking about urgency, it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act between the what matters in our life and the who matters in our life. So I want to ask you all tonight, what matters to you? Is it your studies as a student? Is it your job as a professional? Now, obviously, I can't tell you all what you should be prioritizing in your life. But I do want to challenge you all tonight as to why you have placed that urgency in your life. Is it because it's something that you have selected? Or is it primarily influenced by the peers around you, by the people around you? And speaking of people, I realize that the irony of urgency, it comes with trying to work at the what matters in our life for the sake of who matters in our life. And the irony of it is that while we're trying to be so urgent in what matters, we tend to forget the who matters. And that can't happen. Because it's these people that will encourage us when we're down. It's the people that are closest to us that will rejoice with us when we succeed. And the second virtue of patience. We all know the phrase, patience is a virtue. But I wonder how prominent that is within our culture today. Because of instant gratification being so prominent within our society, whenever we have to wait for an abnormal period of time, we either get distracted or we lose interest altogether. Now, whether you identify yourself as a patient person or an impatient person, we can all attest to moments of impatience within our lives. I know I can. But I heard of a concept that could actually help us fight this issue of impatience. And that concept is called actively waiting. Actively waiting looks a lot like filling in the time from point A to point B with the little nuances in life that pertain to our goal. And for me, when I was diagnosed with my leukemia, that was my point A. And my point B was the day that I hoped that I would be declared cancer-free. And actively waiting for me looked a lot like filling in that time with thoughts on how to live a life without regret, how to live a fulfilled life. And guess what? I'm here tonight, right here, right now, sharing those thoughts with you all. The third and final virtue of perseverance, my favorite one out of the three. Perseverance within our culture has deviated in the sense of not knowing why we need to persevere and the benefits that come from it. When I think about perseverance, I realize that the purpose behind it is it's the glue that holds both urgency and patience within our lives. If there is no perseverance, then we cannot be urgent, because we all know that when we're chasing after our goals and dreams and our needs in life, we're going to hit rough patches. But when we do hit those rough patches, are you able to persevere? Because if you can't, then your urgency will dissipate. If there is no perseverance, then there is no patience. Because perseverance is the driving force behind our patience. But the favorite aspect of perseverance is the rewards. When I think about the rewards of persevering, it comes twofold. It comes with the building of character and the receiving of hope. When we face a trial, we all know that we earn a stripe in life. It's very self-explanatory. It builds our character, it builds up who we are. And when we face through a trial, we receive hope, because when we conquer through that trial, we can look back at it and say that because I faced that trial and conquered it, whatever I'm facing right now or whatever I'm going to face in the future, I can beat it because I've already conquered that. And I can tell you all that I'm here tonight because I persevered through my chemotherapy. I persevered through my cancer. I want to challenge you all tonight to really reassess these virtues in your life, to know what it means to live a fulfilled life and to live a life without regret. So please, again, I urge you all, remember these three virtues of urgency, patience, and perseverance. And to know how to survive in this life, and to know that you will confidently know that you will not face the problem of the deathbed. Thank you.